For today's lesson, lesson 9 of hands-on equations, you're going to need your mat, you're going to need your red number cubes, as well as white and blue pawns. The big thing that we're going to learn in lesson 9 is that when you add the white pawn or star and X together, it's going to equal 0. So star is the opposite of X. For example, if star is positive 7, then X would be negative 7. If star is negative 3, X would be positive 3. And the reason why this is important is we can kind of use a number line to show. So for example, if star is 7, we go 7 on a number line, and then X is negative 7, when we add them together, we're going to end up getting 0. So whenever you add a negative and a positive of the same number, it's always going to result in 0. So that's going to be really important for us to remember that when these two are together, they're opposites and they're always equal 0. You can use the value of 0 to kind of help you simplify algebraic equations. So we are going to solve some expressions today. And so we're only going to be using one side of the balance. So when we're using expressions, we'll see no equal sign. So that tells us we can only use one side of the balance. So let's look at our first one. And this is the one that we're going to go ahead and set up. So let's set it up first. So 2x plus star plus x plus star plus the value of 5. And we know that x is going to equal 2. So because we know that x and star are opposites, if x equals 2, then we know that star is going to equal negative 2. Now, before we get started, let's simplify our problem. So we know that whenever we have an x and a star together, they are equivalent to 0. So let's go ahead and remove them because we know that 0 won't affect our problem. So now that we've simplified, we're left with an x and a 5. Since we know that x equals 2, all we need to do is then combine. X plus 2 would equal 7 because 5 plus 2 equals 7. Okay. Now let's put all of our pawns back up. And I want to show you that even before we simplify, we will still end up getting the value of 7. So we have positive 2 and positive 2 is 4, plus negative 2, so that would be like minusing 2. So 4 minus 2 would be 2, plus 2 would be 4, minus 2 would be 2, and then plus 5 would be 7. And so we'll end up getting the answer of 7. All right, let's try another before you go and try some on your own. The next one we're going to attempt is going to be 3 star plus x minus a star plus 1. And in this case, we know that star is equivalent to 4. So that means that x, since it's the opposite, is going to be equal to negative 4. All right, let's go ahead and first see if we can simplify. So to simplify, we see if we have any zeros. We do. A star and an x equals a 0, so now I can remove that. And now I'm left with star, which equals 4, positive 4, and and 1, which equals 1. So 4 plus 1 would equal 5. Okay. And we could go ahead and set everything back up. So we would have 3 star plus an x minus a star plus 1. And we could do the same thing. So 4, 8, 4, 5. Our answer will be 5. So with today's lessons, it's going to be really important about 0 is the fact that you can add and subtract it from an equation and it's not going to change the value, right? If I have a value of 5 and I add zeros to it, I'm always going to end up with 5. Same thing, I can subtract zeros, right? 5 minus 0 minus 0 minus 0, it's going to end up equaling 5. So that's going to be our new legal move. Because a star and a pawn together are going to equal 0, we can add and subtract them, and it will not change or not unbalance our equation in any way. So go off and try some on your own. Remember, you're only going to be solving expressions today, so you only need to use one side of your scale as well as your pieces. Off you go, mathematicians.